I messed up. I done goofed. Okay, this video is going to be on Spire Global, ticker symbol SPIR. And Spire Global, as of today, is currently 19.5% up on the day, following a massive run for the week, for 5 days, 33%, and for year to date, 174% up year to date. Now, how did I mess up, right? Oh, I'm so screwed. Okay, so, well, on Tuesday or Wednesday, what is this? On the 15th, no, sorry. Well, what is this? The 8th? So that was 2 days ago. So Wednesday. On Wednesday, I wrote these calls, right? And I thought I was screwed when it hit 22, and then the stock dropped, right? Stock then dropped a good 30% or 20 some percent back down to 1760, and I thought I was saved again. And now it's up again. So why do, like, I could wait. Obviously, it's just 3 calls, right? I only wrote 3 calls, but I don't see this going down anymore. My previous price target, I did share this in a previous post, was this 1736 area, which we obliterated. And then I saw 19, and now I think hopefully we'll be in this green channel that I've talked about. This green line will hopefully become our support line. And then we might be in this channel for a while, which this channel I talked a lot about, right? This channel right here, that's where we collapsed after the Kepler deal. Freaking Kepler, I'm still salty about that. But hopefully we can remain inside this channel or even go above it if that's possible. I mean, we are still, what, 80% down from, probably like 70% down from IPO or D-SPAC. So let's just ignore that and go back to here, right? So why do I think that my calls are screwed, right? Will we have another drop of, will we have another 20% drop? And I think that this goes back to what I talked about in a previous video, namely this one. Oil up, stocks up, right? And this is this video, which obviously I don't have that many views, whatever, right? But I think that this, I talk about how everyone who's in the stock market always says, like, one of the most famous sayings is, short term it's a voting machine, long term it's a weighing machine. In my opinion, the stock market is always a voting machine, right? You can have fundamentals, but those fundamentals might never appear until people realize and start voting based off of the fundamentals. Just pick any item in your room and you tell me why you bought it. Did you calculate the exact price of the raw materials and labor costs that went into creating that product? Or did you buy it because you wanted to buy it? Did you buy it because someone else told you to buy it? Did you buy it because you saw someone had it and they wanted to buy it? Probably the latter, right? You bought it not because you calculated all the fundamentals of the product. You bought it because someone told you to, or because you wanted to, right? And another thing, why did you sell something, right? Think of the last thing you sold. Why did you sell it? Namely, it's probably because 1, you think the price is going to go down. 2, you don't need it anymore. But like, what I'm saying is, you never really, you don't calculate things based off of fundamentals, right? You do things based off of market demand and market supply, right? Let's ignore supply for now. Most pricing comes from demand, right? So and demand depends on how much you value that item and how much the other person values that item. Now, going back to Spire Global, we just had this news, right, where they sold, is this it? They just announced a $70 million private placement. And they sold 5 million shares for $14 each, right? Like, I think that this is really strong. This is actually really smart. I do, like, as a shareholder of the company, I actually do agree that they should take in money, right? And at least get interest on it and be able to grow even faster now that you have this $70 million. But who remembers, if you're following my channel, you probably know about SoFi, right? SoFi announced a $1 point some billion private placement, It wasn't at the market. It wasn't out of desperation. They did it with Goldman Sachs and Bank of America for $27.50, and the stock drops below $27.50. Think about it, right? Below $27.50, which means that the market is now valuing SoFi Technologies at a price less than what a group of people bought the stock for. What am I saying? The market is now evaluating SoFi at a price lower than what people spent $1.5 billion to buy it at, right? So in that case, then you see like there's a bearish sentiment, because even though people were buying it at $27.50 and they bought $1.5 billion worth, or 1.2, I forget which one, $1.5 billion worth at $27.50, the market's like, well, I think it's even cheaper than that. But in this case, it's different, right? You notice it's at a purchase price of $14 a share. I think even after this came out, the stock never dropped below $14. It hit $14.80 or like $14.50 pre-market, and immediately went back up to $17, $18. Oh, whoops. Anyways, so again, the stock was purchased at $14, and then the stock never drops below it doesn't even touch $14. It hits $14.50 in pre-market, and it bounces back up to $17, $18. Could that have been a mini short squeeze? That's possible, right? People might have shorted on the news, and then people just bought it up, and then because it's such a low float, right, before this placement, because I don't know if this placement already happened yet, but it was at 28 million shares. Now it's at 33 million shares. That's still a really low float, and maybe people couldn't locate shares. And now today it is at, whatever, it's at $21.14. If this stock drops below like $20, I'm not gonna post this video. So anyways, I really doubt it. It's right now, it's almost 12 o'clock. But the other thing, right, when this is something called news failure, which I talked about in this video that Jason Spir always talks about. When a stock ends up green on bad news, that is very bullish. And oftentimes, if the stock's been dropping for a long time and then suddenly it ends up green on bad news, that is a very bullish indicator of a sentiment shift where people kind of, you hit the bottom, right? Shorts, or I guess that sellers capitulated, and now there's only really buyers left in the market. And that's basically what happened yesterday. We didn't end up green, but it was I think in my opinion, it was very bullish, right? It was very bullish. Like the price action was very bullish that we rebounded so quickly. I mean, honestly, it makes sense, right? I think it makes sense that the stock would drop. It went up 30% the day before, and then it drops down 30%, and now it's ending up. It's going up another 17.7%. This is especially bullish, I think. First of all, to close the day so strong after bad news, it still closed down, right? But it closed very strong on bad news. And the other thing is also, first of all, like, right, higher lows, right? It might not be higher highs, but higher lows. And this one, we continue a higher lows pattern, and it's also higher highs today. And to close the week so strong, right? I think this is a sentiment shift where, because I'm happy for anyone that bought it here, right? Because I was struggling throughout this area, maybe not here, but like throughout this area, I was struggling and just DCAing. But I think that there is a sentiment shift, and even though, like, I think that right now it might be a little bit overheated, but I'm not gonna fight the tape. The tape is telling me, right? Sentiment is telling me, price action is telling me that people want to buy the stock. And I mean, again, if the stock suddenly drops to $15 end of day, I'm not going to post this because I'll just look like an idiot. But I don't see that happening. And also, like, everyone always says, oh, but the fundamentals, right? Palantir has great fundamentals, right? It might not be priced perfectly, right? But it's been executing, but the sentiment is what's determining the price action, and that's what's making it drop, right? Yeah, you could say, let's look at Palantir stock, right? What is that at? For the, you know, Trump legit said basically buy Palantir in his tweet, in his X post today. That was right. That was this little pop up right here, I think, and it's just being faded. When the president of the United States says, "Hey, Palantir is great," you'd think there'd be buying pressure, but it keeps getting faded. It's the fundamentals might be there, right? There's bullish catalysts, but the sentiment, right, is still pushing it down. And I think that this entire market, it's so driven by sentiment, by the voting machine that is the stock market, that we have to pay attention to that, right? So I do think that we have room to go up, and I'm not seeing any slowdown in the momentum of Spire Global. So I just wanted to talk about Spire Global today. Regarding any news, if you care about the news, yeah, they have the agriculture thing. Yeah, they have a few recent, I guess, news events or news press releases. But it's not like they haven't been doing this stuff for the past few years, right? Agriculture intelligence, they've had that for forever, right? They've been launching satellites for so long. They've been developing and they've been executing. It's just a sentiment shift, which is the only differing factor in determining the stock price. Hey, look, it's dropping a little bit more. Maybe I can get out of my calls, hopefully. But I think I'm probably screwed for my calls, at least for the time being. Hey, I guess I'll just ride it. Just don't. I guess there's no real. I guess this is just an update. But like, one of the biggest, I guess, lessons I learned from Jason Shapiro is don't fight the tape, right? Don't short just because things are up. Don't short just because of the fundamentals, because the market can stay irrational for longer than you can stay solvent. And also, this idea that bad news, when bad news stops becoming bad news, or like when the price action does not reflect the news event, that is something to look out for when you are looking at, I guess, places to buy and places to sell. So this video is on Spire Global and also just like sentiment, market sentiment in general, market psychology in general. Yeah, I have nothing else to say. It's going down. Maybe I can get on my calls. Maybe I will just throw away this video. But otherwise, have a good day. Peace, and let's go Spire. Woo! 15% now. Yes. It's been a while.